Good morning, beloveds. Oh, okay. I got nothing. It's the day after the election. Everybody's kind of subdued, and but it's pretty outside, even if it's going to be hot today. And when I say hot, it's going to be in the mid 80s. Although we are looking at like the 40s for the lows this weekend. I'm kind of excited. So, but it is November 9th. Our title is Home. The first quote is, in God's house there are many mansions, and that is John 14:2. The second quote is, this world with all its wonders is not the only one that we shall inhabit. And that is The Science of Mind, page 479. The poet T.S. Eliot wrote, "Home is where one starts from. As children of God, all of us have our origins in our true home, the perfect point of creation. Just as we, as individual human beings, might have a particular love of mountains, oceans, or prairie, depending on where we have lived, each of us bears the imprint of the divine creator, and throughout our lifetime on earth there is a yearning for home. Even when we are not able to express it in words, even in the midst of the confusion and fear of living, we instinctively sense that there is a better place." Dr. Holmes tells us, God is within, and it is here that we meet him. The inward gaze alone can reveal the spirit. The better place we seek is in God's house, the kingdom of God, which Jesus proclaimed is within us. Just as we begin our earthly lives in north, south, east, or west, we begin our real lives, our spiritual life, in the mind of God, and our roots remain in the kingdom. However, it is up to us to decide to go home. Like the prodigal, it is up to us to come to ourselves and realize that we no longer need to be confused and fearful in a strange land. We can turn toward home. When we begin the journey back, we see this world with all its wonders and challenges, not as a beginning or an end, but as a time to grow and to claim our divine heritage. When we leave this world, we shall arrive where we started. I am always at home in the kingdom of my Creator. I am surrounded by divine love and am thankful for this beautiful dwelling place. That is Jean Anderson, J.A. I admit that I get a little concerned when people start talking about a better place. All right. And one of the reasons why I do that is because if you've looked at the history of the Catholic Church, then one of the things that they have done to keep their populations in line, especially when they've been in miserable conditions, and they are trying to retain power over them, then what they will do is say, well, heaven. Let's focus on heaven. Be good now. Follow the rules. Do what you're told, and then you'll get to go to heaven. And it has been used for spiritual abuse, and it has been used for oppression for a very long time. So I get a little nervous when people start talking about a better place, and not this one. It's also can be the focus for a lot of people who get overwhelmed with this world, and they think, well, if there's a better place, let me just go there now. So I do get a little nervous when people talk about a better place. I like that she ended it by saying, this is a place to grow. We came here for a reason. I'm not going to get into the whole purpose thing, because if you've watched enough of these, you know my opinion on what our purpose is. But we came here, and Dr. Holmes says that, we came here for a reason. We came here to experience, and we came here to learn, and we came here to grow, and we came here to expand, to unfold, as he likes to say. And so this is not the only world we will inherit. There is a place that we came from. It is a place we will return to. Or we can think about it as the spiral. we're ever spiraling up. I grew up as a huge fan of C.S. Lewis's Narnia series, and that was in the last book, in the last battle. When they got to the garden, when they got to heaven, it was Narnia. It was a more concentrated version of Narnia, a more real version of Narnia. So, we don't know what it's going to look like. We have we've got hints, but we don't know what it's going to look like. But we know that there's something beyond. But that doesn't excuse our responsibility for now. We have a responsibility to make sure that this is a world that works for everybody. So what we don't want to do is get so focused on the next that we forget that we have stuff to do here. And that's one of the reasons why remembering that the kingdom of God is within us, remembering that heaven is a state of mind, it's a state of consciousness. It's like we can create home here. And I will tell you that some of that comes from being a military brat. It comes from the number of times in my life that I have moved. That it became a joke, but also a truth that home for me was where my pillow was. Home is where the people that know your full name, home is where the people who love you, home is where the people who will always open their door and sit with you at midnight with a cup of tea or cocoa or whatever and talk about life. That's home. It's not about blood. It's not about blood. There are a whole lot of people who their home, it's not, their blood relationships, but it's the people that they've met that they have those midnight conversations with. And that's the power of recognizing that home is within, that we carry it with us always. And maybe and here's where I freely admit that is that military brat bias. I was born when my father was in boot camp. The place that I was born, I lived in for 3 months. I do not remember the place that I was born. And there are people who literally have never left the place that they were born. I don't have that experience. I, on the other hand, have been around the world. I lived in England. I lived in Utah. So I have been other places. I have traveled. And so for me, home was never a physical place in this world. It's a sense. It's always been a sense of community, of love, of similar ideas. And that's why for me, when I walked into CLC, but CSL, Centers for Spiritual Living, when I walked into Science of Mind, I found home because I found people that thought like I did, believed like I did, recognized the infinite variety of faces that God wears, and that were interested in working for a world that works for everybody. So that's home. The quote from Jesus, and I didn't say Father the first time, because I do try and gender neutral, but the quote from Jesus is, in my Father's house are many mansions. In God's house, there are many mansions. It means that anywhere and everywhere can be home. And it is up to you to create that. But you get to do it in community, if that makes sense. It's not something you have to do by yourself. It's not something you have to do by yourself. And sometimes home looks like you, your partner, and your 5 cats, because it's a safe place. So, whatever it takes for you to create that sense of home, part of the journey is always going to be inwards. Part of that journey. When you know who you are and you can go within and meet the source of your own being, you will always be able to create home anywhere you are. So, I would suggest that is your mission today. Today is to define home. What is it? What is it that makes home for you? Especially on the spiritual level. And yes, it is about spiritual work. It is about meeting the source of your own being, knowing the source of your own being, and finding a community that supports you. So, all right. So you have your mission. It's about a definition. And I would encourage you to do it in whatever medium makes you happy. If it is words, if it is music, if it is painting, if it is drawing, if it is vision boarding, create your home. Define your home. And then go there on a regular basis. And one of the ways that you can do that is the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. And home is one of those things. Knowing that you have a home. Recognizing your spiritual home. And aligning your physical home with your spiritual home. That I can't think of anything more loving, kind, and compassionate that you could do. Yeah. And, some of us have many homes. Because we have found people in many places that feel like home. So, okay. But the loving, kind, compassionate can also look like taking a walk, taking a nap, eating dessert first, taking the time to go see a movie, meeting a friend for dinner, whatever that looks like. So it is about self-care, as well as joy. So whatever it takes for you to practice it, please practice on yourself. You deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. And that is one of the ways that we definitely go towards creating that sense of home and meeting that sense of home. So, it's all good. It's all good. I know doing your work sometimes is not what we want to do, but it's always very important. So, all right. That's what I know. And then, I don't know what I was about to say. In fact, I'm completely lost. All right. What I am going to remind you I'm going to encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body today, whatever that looks like. I'm going to encourage you to drink plenty of water. It is still pretty warm out there, and it is important to drink. Hydration is important. Your brain works better when it's hydrated. And if you want to go home, hydration is important. And to get that bright light early in your day is super important. It will go a long way towards resetting those circadian rhythms and help you have more energy during the day and sleep better at night. And then, in the words of Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. That home is where you are. Because it's a state of mind, it's a state of consciousness. As Gene Anderson said, just like the prodigal son, we can always turn around and go home. And it can be right here, right now. When we are willing to meet the source of our own being. When we are willing to be in the presence of God. When we are willing to feel the presence of God. All right. So, what's that? Don't be overwhelmed by the brokenness of the world. Because your part to do, you can manage, and it doesn't all fall on you. Do the good that you can. And that's one of the reasons why when I talk about the windows of your soul, I lean into the Emma, where it's look for the good, praise it. No matter what the situation is, if you are there, there is some good there because you bring the good with you. All right? So, windows of the soul, breath of heaven, look for the good and praise it. All right, here's where I do the social media part, where I remind you we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. We are Creative Life Spark. I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I'm going to encourage you to check out our playlists and do all that. But if you want to know what's going on with the center, then please email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the constant contact. The hot links are hot. There's a hot link that will take you right to our Soul Session playlist, which really is one of our best playlists. And there's several years of Jessie up there, so there's plenty to keep you busy. And there was something else, and now I don't remember what it was, so there we go. I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanting day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, an awe-filled day, a wondrous day. I may have already used that. It's Wednesday. All the W words. All right. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God. You are a divine spark. You are God in action. You are spirit in motion, in whom God is well pleased and well represented. All right? So go out there and get busy creating home. Right here, right now. All around us. All the time. Okay. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So take care of yourself. Know that you're loved. And I will see you next time.